Employee reviews. On the employee up to date, shows you the last review an employee had and when they are next due. When an employee is new, they should be due within 30 days. Within 30 days, we feel like we should know what kind of employee we have on our hands and let them know what they're doing well and what they need to work on. After that, once every 6 months, you can see here in MOK, not too many reviews are done, so they've been doing a good job. We'll highlight when they get out of date. So that's how you see that. When you turn the review in, the home office will go ahead and change these dates and show you when the next reviews are due. In forms or team folder, forms, staff evaluation, there's a form to use. It is this. There's a manager guide on what makes a good review that you can review, and then the review itself. Let's go through the manager guide. Keys to a good review. Schedule the review with the staff ahead of time to allow them to prepare. Research tracking incident records and screw-ups page that are filtered for the staff member, so you have a chance to use facts on how often they make mistakes and how often they're late or absent when you're talking to them about it. Hopefully, in both cases, it won't be very often, and you can make that a very positive, complimentary part of the review. The goal is to not only guide them to better performance and hold them accountable for their deficiencies, but also understand where their head is really at concerning their job and perhaps learn things about other staff. We want people to keep working for us. We want them leaving the job to be our decision rather than their decision. An old boss of mine once said the only reason people quit is they just don't like working for you. So ideally, we have staff do most of the talking. Listening is the most important part of the review. Make them feel important. Give them your full time and attention. Ask them questions to get them to talk. Ask questions that lead them to say what you want them to hear. If you can get them to say something, it is far more effective than them just listening to what you have to say. So an example on how some questions might go for somebody that's been late a little bit too often. How often do you think you've been late in the last 6 months? Maybe they say 4 times. Well, according to the records here, it's actually 8 times. Oh. How do you think that affects when someone is late? Or who do you think that affects? The other employees, anyone else, customers. You'll notice that for the most part, the employees really do know the answers, but you're getting them to say it rather than you saying it. If you were me, what would you say about that? This is where you get tell me to be on time. This is where you're getting them to acknowledge and to actually say that they know that you have to hold them accountable for it. Can you understand why it's important? Yeah, I get it. You can also ask what holds you back from being on time, or what can we do to help you on time. This just helps hold them say things that will hold themselves more accountable to be on time. These questions are just examples. You can think of other kinds of questions to ask them to start hopefully a real conversation about what's really going on with this employee. What do you like working about here? Or what do you like about working here? If you could change anything about working here, what would it be? What is the one thing that we as managers, or you could say myself or the company, could do better? Who are your best friends at work? Who does a great job around here that you might think we don't fully appreciate? What's something customers often ask for or comment on? Do you have any ideas about what might make the place run smoother? And you might be able to think of some other questions that can start those conversations where you can learn from the review as much as tell. The form itself is an Excel form. You have 2 options. You can check this off and fill it in on the computer, and if you check all of these, you'll actually come up with a score based on the check marks that you do. You can clear all this. It's not required. It goes through image, clean uniform, brings to work, and then different boxes on you can check from great at the top to terrible on the bottom. These are really just ideas to start you thinking about how you would grade that person. Listens and learns, receptive to direction. Can they grasp different procedures, standards, requests? Are they able to change and learn? So, for example, if they're great at this, tell him or her once and never have to worry about it again. Never fails. Well, that would be just awesome. Needs to be explained and shown something once or twice and might need a reminder or two, but after that takes care of the problem. Once shown and taught will mostly get it right, but once in a while will just forget. Must be taught and shown repeatedly before doing it correctly. Severe difficulty learning. Chances are somebody falls into sort of one of these categories. You can make comments as you see fit. Quality of work, cleaning, organizing, done to a high standard, critical eye on food. Attitude, gets along with staff and management, pleasant to be around, customer oriented, friendly and helpful, professional, that's a big deal, professional, addresses problems the right way, mature. Teamwork, looks to stay busy even in downtimes, quick to help others whenever possible. Speed, gets the job done quickly and efficiently, can crank it out when we're busy, still works quickly when the restaurant is slow. Schedule, on time and ready to go, rarely if ever worry about being there for their shift. Final thoughts that clearly summarize what the employee is good at and where we need to go from here. You can also include potential goals for the next 6 months in this section. And of course, just have sign right there. And once this is done, of course, you're going to scan it and put it in Heather's docs, and we will keep it in their personnel files. If you ever want to see an employee's old review, we can certainly send that to you. And then once we have it, we will show it on the employee up to date as the most recent date. Examples here is an example of a scanned review where the check marks and the comments were typed in. This is nice, and it looks name on the bottom, of course, signed, summary on the bottom, but not required to do that. It as well. It doesn't come up with a total score, but checked off. You don't have to write something in every single category, but you can write some things when you feel like you need things to make note of here. And then a final summary. This is probably things are checked. No comments anywhere. Not one thing to say about this employee here. And no final comments. That's probably not a great job. And I think that is it for staff evaluations.